I'm recording a one-size-fits-all legal disclaimer for the beginning of every episode that I upload. The views and the opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any agency, organization, employer, or company that they are affiliated with. Examples of analysis performed within this podcast are only anecdotal examples. They should not be utilized in any real world analytics as they are based on anecdotal information. That is all. This first little bit here. So it's recording now. I'll just edit this first little bit out of me, like getting ready, prepared, shaking my beard a little bit, all that shit. All right. Yeah. The bearded men, right?
That's right.
That's us. Okay. Big breath. Okay. Hi, this is Robert Cross, and this is Cross Theory, the podcast that looks at this book here, the Dictionary of Theories. Let's get it in focus. Next to my face, maybe. No, we're not. Okay, whatever. Anyway, as you can see, oh, there it is. 5,000 theories. So there might be 5,000 episodes. I'm joined here by a Canadian. Do you want to introduce yourself?
A Canadian. Yeah, that's right. My name is Ryan Hartley. Kenneth Ryan Hartley is my name. I'm a computer programmer and a writer. I live in Canada. America's hat. How are you, Robert?
Good. And I'm Robert James Cross. I have a master's in writing. I have a master's in education. I'm working on my doctorate in education, and none of that matters because the theory that we're looking at today, I looked at it for a second, but like I told Ryan here, I usually wait until the very last minute to look at it, just says I want to be surprised too.
That's right. It keeps things fresh.
It does.
We're not cheating.
Yeah, and I don't know shit about shit, and I'm sure Ryan doesn't really know shit about shit either. Neither of us do. So we're just doing it. All right. So this is Abney's effect. It's psychology. It's a theory from psychology. It's named after a chemist named Sir William Abney. It's a phenomenon whereby when a large area is suddenly illuminated, the light seems to appear first in the center and then spreads outward towards the edges. When the light is extinguished, the edges actually disappear first and the center last. It's called the Abney effect. What do you think of when you first hear that, Ryan?
Wow. Well, I think like the behavior of light and the dispersion of light is always really interesting. You can follow light down really strange paths, not just scientific, well, usually scientific, but I mean, I was down a rabbit hole not long ago when maybe earlier or late last year about holograms. If you've ever holograms.
Have you ever made one?
No, I've never made one.
Yeah, we had. So when I was in high school, we had a tech lab, and so the tech lab had all these different like modules you can do, and there was like a radio module, there was a photography module, there was a flight simulator module. This was before 9/11. There was a flight simulator module that you can learn how to fly a plane, and then one of them was in this dark room, and it was the hologram module, and you were able to make a hologram of anything you wanted, right? And so I fucking went into there with I was infatuated with lions and tigers at the time. Lions because I'm a Leo, and tigers just because I like big cats. And so I remember doing one of a tiger, and it was like this hologram on this like sheet. It was green, and like you could do the whole thing. But yeah, you can actually make those with like a certain chemical and the picture and shit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I guess when you like consider light hitting a space and then dispersing sort of from the center, I guess I hadn't thought of it. Then again, of course, that sounds like physics, right? That's like
it was a chemist and a physicist, I guess.
Sure,
that figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like, I mean, just even in like the line of work I'm sort of in, I mean, you can simulate light in a lot of ways, and you can do like even the most basic video game. A lot of times, the people playing now, the way they're simulating light is bonkers, man. I mean, like it's especially now, like the modern GPO is calculating all these rays and stuff.
Well,
like
so I'm not. So I have no like background or experience in coding or doing any of the gaming kind of shit. But like, can you explain like to like if I was 5 years old, all right, like what is ray tracing essentially, like in a game, like what causes that, like what parts of what makes it look the way that it does?
Yeah, well, like light,
Hmm.
casting light, and let's say like there's a wall in front of you. The
Hmm.
see the blue light hits my hand, and then behind I'm looking at my hand and it's orange because this light is orange and
Yeah,
this light is blue.
it sounds like Portal.
Dude, there we go. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there we are.
game. No, no, no.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's how they really do it, how it's abstract. I'm into how it's abstracted. So like how
Hmm.
it's really done on a computer level is really really intense. But
Yeah,
yeah, just like shooting rays from your perspective, and like if that ray hits a wall, then you can. It's kind of like an electron microscope. If you're shooting all around you,
yeah.
and whatever you're hitting is the if it's light, then yeah, you can see that. So I'm not really huge into game development. Lately I've been getting into game development, but
Yeah.
even ray tracing and that sort of thing, that's still a bit beyond me
Is
for
that
sure.
beyond you too? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I have no experience in it all, but I look at some of the games that are out, and I always think I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? You know, how the hell did they do? They make the light look the way that it does. They make the atmosphere the way that it looks. And so like one of my favorite games of the last few years was Cyberpunk 2077, and that game, man, like forget about it. Like, I mean, when it first came out, everybody gave it a lot of shit because they were like, oh, there's all these bugs and everything. I loved it. I loved the
Sure.
atmosphere. I loved
Yeah,
Cyberpunk,
it's
all that
all
stuff.
yeah, and it's gorgeous looking. And I think there's something about like they really nailed the final rendered um light. Like light is
Yeah.
so important in that.
Oh,
Like
big time. Mhm.
I used to fuck with this program called Magical Voxel. It was like a voxel building program, and you kind of build your thing out of your voxels, kind of like Minecraft,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you could kind of like render it with light,
Uh-huh.
and it's just it's just like it's so much fun to see that happen on a computer for sure. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, fucking with visuals like that. I mean, it's like if you're not learning that stuff now, those are almost slowly becoming lost arts, 3D
Yeah.
modeling and
Yeah.
maybe 3D animation and stuff. You never know.
There's a couple people I've already talked to in previous episodes who have mentioned their, I guess not so much distrust, but it's kind of like their aversion to AI. And I'm assuming that's what you were kind of leaning towards right now when you said those jobs are going to be going the wayside. Is that what you meant? Like modeling and shit is going to go basically the AI route at some point, or it already is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange time to start learning
Yeah.
those skills. Although you never know. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say really what will happen, but right now I'm spending a lot of time sort of like in the higher levels of abstraction, and I am teaching myself languages in like an applicable sense only,
Yeah.
but I'm using AI a lot to
Teach
produce
yourself.
way beyond my level. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, so with a lot of prolificacy, so definitely it's a strange time to maybe learn 3D modeling or learning gaming from a traditional perspective, but there's
Mhm.
still a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, no, 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 I get that completely. And I'm not going to say that I don't I'm not a fan of the art that you do on the Amp magazine. Because that stuff is like again, that kind of shit's way beyond me. What do you use to do that? Is there like a program, or do you just make it happen? You know?
Yeah, well, I use Canva to actually to produce the magazine,
Oh,
which is
okay.
not an industry
Yeah.
standard. All of the graphic, I got into a bunch of graphic design work actually at the end of last year and beginning of this year, and I Canva is not the industry standard at all.
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful tool, but it's nowhere near as powerful as the Adobe Suite.
Yeah,
And
or like, have you tried the Affinity thing yet? I heard Affinity is like a big deal right now.
I've not. I've not.
Yeah,
I use a ton of tools for creating images and videos and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
So there's like just a handful. I'm pretty much Googling every time I do it, trying to find a new
yeah.
tool. So
Yeah,
that
Affinity's supposed to be free, and it's supposed to be like in like competition, direct competition with Adobe. I've used Photoshop a bunch when I was younger because I used to make memes and shit before I started writing seriously, doing any of that. I was like, oh, let me see if I could make funny memes, and I was like, I can paste this on this, and it's funny, whatever. But yeah, I didn't learn about vectors or any of the other bullshit until later or whatever. But the Affinity Suite's supposed to be hardcore, and Adobe's like worried because Affinity's free. Like it's all free. All the photo suite, the video suite, all the shit that they have is in direct competition with Adobe, and it's all free. But when something's free, that actually means that it's not free. It's
that's right.
yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing's free.
I
Yeah.
was trying to study some of like alternatives, like more industry standard alternatives, open source alternatives, and
Right.
Affinity
Like
must have.
GIMP, like GIMP. Have you used GIMP before?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
GIMP. But
yeah.
my go-to is actually called Paint.net. It's a really
Oh, I've
stupid
heard of
name.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard of
Yeah,
that too. Yeah,
um,
yeah,
and I mean it's a raster editor, but yeah, I mean I would be I'm sort of beholden to a career. Like I've got to learn Adobe InDesign if I want the industry standard. So if there's
yeah,
an InDesign,
yeah,
and the InDesign alternatives aren't quite as powerful, and Canva gets the job done for me. If I ever have to like go deeper down this route,
yeah,
I'll probably end up just getting into. I've used InDesign before. I just don't
yeah.
pay for
What?
Adobe Suite.
What's the? What? I'm blanking here. What's the? There's a Microsoft version of that too, isn't there? Isn't it like
Oh shit.
Publisher or something like that, or is that something different?
It could be, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah. I can't
sure.
remember. I can't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah.
it might be a bit it might be like sunsetting now, although I'm not sure. I know Adobe pretty much has the stranglehold
Yeah,
on
the
it.
stranglehold. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know they
Yeah.
definitely do. Their creative suite is like, legendary or whatever. But
And I should have it. It's worth having. It's not even that bad. I mean, it's a subscription model, so it's kind of bunk, but I
well
mean,
you
it's like,
you
you pretty much
you could always torrent it. That's
well,
not
yeah, well,
bad.
that's what I had before. I had a cracked version of
Yeah.
InDesign, and it worked. And then I switched computers, and
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't needed it, but we'll see. I'm a
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
learner.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um so we touched briefly on your writing, I guess, and the magazine and everything. What made you get into that, like creating AMP? Because like it's kind of taking on a life of its own in the community. I'm a part of that community. You're a part of that community. There are a lot of other writers that are a part of that community that I'll be talking to at some point. I know I have one of them kind of on a little bit of a hook and a line right now, and I'm trying to get him on, and it's tough. It's tough. Your episode is actually going to be the episode after probably my biggest episode, which is my uncle. My uncle came on here to talk to me, and I don't know if I ever told you about my uncle. Yeah, he's a three-time Super Bowl champion for the 49ers. So he came on and talked to me about stuff, and that'll be the episode right before yours. Um, so you're going to get some people are going to watch this, I'm sure, not just, regular old, people. And then I'm sure it's going to, people on 4chan and wherever else are probably going to watch it too on Lit. That's where me and Ryan kind of, I guess, met serendipitously through the Lit community, which,
That's right.
yeah, there's a lot of very insecure people on there, and I'm not going to say that I'm, and I'm not going to say that I'm not insecure sometimes because I am. You know what I mean? I don't claim to not be insecure, and I'm sure you can be insecure at points too. I
Sure.
mean, yeah, everybody can admit to that,
Sure.
but man, sometimes the volatility of that community is just like out of control. Um, But no, amp is yeah, it's been one of my favorite things to be a part of. That and of course Lit Quarterly was like one of the first things I did. And that I feel like amp is kind of a like a child of that a little bit because they had the really good art for the covers and all that stuff like that. And I forget who did Lit Quarterly now. My brain is blanking. But he paid me, so I love the guy, whoever he might be. And if he watches this, I'm sorry I forgot your name. Um, yeah, but what made you get into like writing and making a magazine and doing all that shit?
Well, he definitely was a huge inspiration. I mean, it turns out we were all kind of on the scene um, during the same time.
Yeah.
And then later we ended up coming out as ourselves,
Hmm.
and that was later. But I had noticed during COVID right there, it was the first year in 2020, I believe, and really cool shit was dropping. The
Hmm.
Coronavirus, all of the
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember like going into one of the hot documents. It was like some Google Doc,
yeah,
and these guys were. I was late to the show, you could tell,
yeah.
and
Hmm.
this one guy he would spam the first chapter of Moby Dick, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And then they were talking about how that was an old meme,
yeah,
and I forget the project. I think it was part of something called Hyperlit, which sort of fell apart.
yeah.
But I thought that it was such a cool idea. This like emerging
Collaborative.
collaboration,
Yeah,
so fucking cool.
yeah,
And yeah, Lamp spun off into its own life for sure.
yeah,
It's jumped the shark.
yeah,
And it's just like me tap dancing still. So I don't know. It's definitely played out, but it's funny to say that like, oh yeah, I met a homie on 4chan.
yeah,
4chan was this like substrate that a bunch of like artists were really trying to find community and find a way
yeah,
to put their stuff out, and it served its purpose. And I don't usually go to Lit anymore
yeah,
to unless I'm looking like it's very rare that I'm even on Lit,
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, it's
It's
funny.
not really a
I
cool
went on there.
place.
I went on there recently, like within the last week, and I don't see anything on there that's really like capturing my attention or whatever. I'm actually finding a lot of stuff on music on the music thing because I make music too, so I go on there sometimes to look up new artists that I have no idea who they are. Because there'll be some random hipster guy on there talking about how some Japanese pop shit from 1962 is the greatest thing that's ever been made. And then I'll listen to one of the songs and I'm like, it's good. It's not great, but at least I could say I listened to that fucking song or whatever. But with Lit, it's like all the things that they kind of, I guess, are like, you know, whacking off right now. It's all stuff that's like derivative of something else, and then that's derivative of something else, and then that's derivative. There's nothing original going on anymore on that board. And they could quote me and make this into a WebM and put it on there. But yeah, there's nothing original on Lit anymore. But there's still originality coming out of the scene that we're a part of, the collective that we're in. And one of those things was, like I said, that last issue of AMP, which was like fucking I thought was great, and I'm in it. Even
Right
though I
on.
mean, you could tell I could say it's original, but it's like we just reprinted something that I did about the Las Vegas shooting.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was no, it was it's great to be a part of that, and I loved all the other stuff that was in there too. Um, but who's the writer other than me? Because I don't want you to blow smoke up my ass. But like, who's the writer that you look at in the scene right now that you're like, okay, that person can be something more than what they currently are?
I definitely think there's like I have favorites. Like there's definitely a movement going on where I see certain writers that are getting a ton of traction, and then I see there's another, and then I see a different kind of like I'll always be partial to the Unreal Press and
Yeah,
the Unreal Press scene and the Lamp scene and that kind of writing general lit Discord scene.
hmm, yeah,
Like that, those guys are kind of true blue. And
yeah,
one of my faves is Daniel Gablovsky, and he he's working with Rhyme right now to release his like triptych of stage plays, and
Hmm.
these guys are kind of interesting. They're real starving artists. They remind me of like us a lot. They do it for
Yeah.
the love pretty much, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then I've got other friends like Adam,
Yeah.
he's getting really popular, and so
Mhm.
I don't know, it's like it you got to find your foothold somewhere, and I took another hiatus, like I couldn't help myself over the New Year's to
Holidays.
just
Yeah.
to step off. But yeah, and I appreciate all of the collaboration really. Like I still read shards. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
best thing about shards is you can read shards. It's like a perfect airport book. You can read it.
Yeah.
You like it's nice to always have a copy,
Yeah.
always, because you can pop it open, and that's how I ended up reading. That's how now my understanding of shards is,
Yeah.
just because I've by leisure opened it so many times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, I wanted to make something that like you could open to any page of it and then like not be really super confused. And I got that idea from my during my MFA program, that's when I wrote it. And I got that idea from my Hal Jaffe, who we both, you talked to him for a little bit, but I knew him for a long ass time. And
Yeah.
he made us
Wow.
read a novel in 2 lines or something like that. I forget what the fucking book is called, but it's like old school book. It's got these 2 line kind of novels, whatever. And it's like you could open to any page, and it's got this like long list of like novels in 2 lines kind of thing. And I remember reading that in his class, and I was like, fuck, like I need to make something where if you open it up, you're like there's a short story or something like that, or it's something like small blurb or a picture or whatever that like you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, or I can sit here and understand a little bit of something. Because a lot of books aren't that way. A lot of books are, you have to fucking, especially nowadays, you have to read like the book before or the chapter before or the thing before. And it's just not a thing that I'm that into anymore. Like I like the non-linearity. And it was writers like Mark Danielewski, House of Leaves, all that shit, like
Yep.
him.
Yep.
It was
Those,
people like him who inspired the living shit out of me. And I got to meet him, and
yeah.
he was cool as all
Wow.
hell. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
got to meet
yeah,
him.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
we talked about Arno Schmidt, another amazing
Yep.
writer. Yeah, yeah, we
Yep.
talked about Arno because Arno Schmidt influenced him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I didn't
Okay.
know who the fuck he was until I read an interview with Mark Danielewski, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Arno Schmidt." And then I went and I bought Bottom's Dream, and I still have the copy of it,
Cool.
which it's worth a lot of money now because not a lot of people have that that thing.
Cool.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, I love all that stuff. It's all that non-linear kind of like prose that you could pick it up anywhere in the book and you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm in the story, we're good. You
Yeah.
could, I mean, you could call it a writing for a lazy reader, essentially, because like, because if you're not a lazy reader, you'll read the whole fucking thing, right? You'll read it from the beginning to the end. But
Yep.
if in this new era of like people that have attention spans that are so bad, I mean, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were just on Joe Rogan, and they were talking about how when you write a movie for Netflix, you have to do it to where you explain the plot of the film over and over again. Like the characters have to keep explaining it because they're always going to be on the person watching it's always going to be on their phone the whole
That's
the
right.
whole fucking time. So it's like a second screen film, you know. And uh, I feel like what I was trying to write, I guess, in a way, was a second screen book. You know what I mean? Like you could be on your phone, you can get off your phone for 10 seconds, read a little bit of shards, and then get off of shards and be like, okay, well, I got a little taste of something and I understood it. It had like a beginning, a middle, and an end, you know?
Yes.
And yeah, like I said, there aren't a lot of books like that. Um, but
That's right.
yeah, a lot of the ones I like though are that way, And House of Leaves is a little bit like it's not all the way like that, obviously, but there's bits and pieces of it are that way. I liked reading it in its entirety, and people like reading books still. It's not like they don't. What's the last good book you read?
Golly. Well, I just reread Savage Green by Litzba because I've got to do a review
Oh,
on
you're
it.
doing one of
Um,
the videos. You're doing one of those.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So I've been reading that a bunch, and yeah, I mean, love it more and more when I'm reading it. It's really cool. What I really appreciated about Shards, because I actually do always have a copy of Shards. Like I,
Well, you should. You published it. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, yeah. And well, I think it really is reflective of Jaffe, like you said, man, of
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Jaffe,
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
was really on that sort of minimalist,
Yeah, big time.
like, and it is really, it is really like obviously reflective of that. So that's really cool, to see that sort of
And
influence there.
you read Beasts, right? That one he sent you.
Oh
You
yeah,
read that.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
No, he's no that then that was like I mean, again, like me and him, we would sit and talk for hours about writing, about literature, about everything. And so to have that, relationship with him was, it's a privilege, obviously. And now that he's gone, it's like I really have nobody I talk to about any of that stuff. And
wow,
yeah, it sucks, but that's because I'm in San Diego and there's not a lot of great writing coming out of San Diego. I don't know,
right.
or California at this point right now. But what's it called? Beasts is like I feel like a small taste of what he was. Like I should find some of the PDFs he sent me of his newer stuff and just send those to you because like I think you'd love
Wow.
those, and stuff because they're great stuff. And I don't think a lot of that's being published anymore, which sucks, because he's definitely a writer that like deserves a little bit of a something. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he
he's a
used to
legend.
yeah, I
Actually,
mean, he's a legend to me. Yeah, there he is right there. Old Hal.
yeah,
Hal
this is the
Jaffe.
piece that he did
Yeah, yeah,
send
yeah.
me. Yeah.
No, he was a great guy. And the the thing that I always remember him saying was uh he's like, I've been writing for 60 years. He was 85, I think, 84, something like that when he died. Um he used to tell me, he's like, I've been writing for 60 years and it's been like pissing in the wind. That's what he told me. He said it's like pissing in the wind. And it's like 60 years of writing, man. You know what I mean? Like it's like, how do you write for 60 years? And then to you, it's like, and then you get these people that are like, you know, fucking 14, 15 years old writing these Minecraft fucking choose your adventure stories and they become billionaires. I don't understand it sometimes. I don't understand it, but whatever. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really interesting, man. I mean, a guy like that, you just and he's was really prolific, right? So you just
Oh yeah,
keep
he
going.
wrote constantly, constantly, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, like that's kind of like it's a bit of a testament to like what and he was a great writer. He was great. So I mean, it's a testament to like, if you're great and you do it your whole life, you can get pretty far, but like it's still like pissing in the
It
wind.
doesn't mean shit.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't mean shit.
So I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's why all of us do it
yeah,
for the love. I can't think of a single writer who slogs through it. I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
oh, I gotta get.
I'm gonna make a lot of enemies when I say this right now, and I don't really care. But some of us write in this scene, especially that we're in order to get Rolling Stone articles written about him, which like like give me a break. But I mean, whatever. If you want to do that, do it.
Well,
We
I
have,
mean, I
yeah,
think when the truck starts moving, like when you can get that kind of attention from, like, I think a lot of these books, like that's and a lot of the movement in the momentum in the movement that's coming out from a lot of
yeah,
these young guys, it's not necessarily about like the face of literature has definitely shifted, right? And I mean,
yeah,
like, there's more like I at least appreciate some of those guys. Like, I think at least Adam is in an okay spot because his book has some substance to it. There's
yeah,
other like I've got a lot of like I get sent a lot of books from these guys, and the scene is pretty big now.
yeah,
But like for instance, I was just talking to Cringe and Jesse,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
and I've got their works finally now, and in some way, it's kind of like the short attention span audience, like you said, you can
yeah,
open
yeah,
it to almost anywhere. On the other hand, there's something missing from like there's something I think when the generation that was raised on American Psycho,
yeah, yeah,
um, there's something to be said about like dialing it back a bit. And I mean,
yeah.
I really like still like reading classic literature.
No, I do
And
too. Yeah, yeah, I love it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I at least have to hand it to someone when they do, when they can sort of get noticed and they've got at least like, I don't know. I was talking to Toxic Bro Dude recently, and
Hmm.
we were picking each other's brains about like what it means, and um his relationship with his pseudonym of his pen name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And and I didn't really mean to, but he asked me to review his new book, and then I did. And sort of in the personal review I gave him, I I almost told him to smarten up a little bit. And I didn't
yeah,
even
yeah,
really mean, but I was kind of like, come on, man, let's develop themes. Let's like I think we can do better. And
yeah.
he's a good writer, and I appreciate his writing a lot. And he took it to heart, and he pivoted, and he said stuff to me that made me think too.
Mm.
I think there's more than just shitting out digressive, like
It's a lot
ugly
of it. Some of it's a lot of
ugly
angst.
stuff.
Some of it's a lot of angst. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I realize that when I'm reading it. Like I've read quite a few. Like I'm not going to mention any of the titles here because again, I don't want to make any fucking enemies except for. Like I said, I mean, I talk shit about that Rolling Stone article, but the only reason I talk shit about that Rolling Stone article is because to me, it wasn't talking about the actual writing. It was talking about the people, and I'm just not a huge fan of like the cult of personality shit. Like
Got
that's
it.
my big thing. You know what I mean? If it was talking mostly about those books that they were like, doing those readings of and everything, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Like whatever, do your thing, whatever. But as soon as they're like, oh, this person was like this and he looked like he could fuck every woman in the room and all this other stuff, I just was like, it was a jack off fest to me. And I was like, I can't take it seriously. But because I wouldn't want anybody to write an article about me like that. If I went and did a reading of like shards, and then somebody wrote an article that was like just talking about me as a person, I'd be like, no, this has nothing to do with me. It has to do with my work, and I want you to talk about my fucking work, and that's it. I mean, yeah, you can talk about me a little bit, like that's fine, but like not don't make the whole article that. But no, there's a
Right.
lot of yeah, but there's a lot of people in the scene, this scene especially, that yeah, they're full of angst. That I guess quote unquote they call it that incel angst or whatever that they say, which is just men that they can't find. And again, like I'm talking as a married man here, but like these men that can't find like happiness outside of a romantic like partnership with somebody, and so instead they like use that the energy that they would need in order to get a romantic partnership, they use that energy to instead kind of just fucking rage out on society and women and everybody else. And it's like it does nothing for society or women or anybody else. I don't know if I mean I haven't met a lot of women that read stuff that's come out of our scene and actually thought like, oh shit, this gets me going like Jane Austen does or whatever. Because it definitely does, you know what I mean? Women are still reading those like schlock ass
Sure.
what's it, like fucking novels that come with like the 50
The
books in
Minotaur?
them. Yeah, yeah, or whatever, or like a Crown of Roses or whatever the fuck that one book series is called. You know, yeah. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about that incel rage shit? What do you think about all that?
Well, I mean, I think for starters, the what you said sort of about the like meta discussion, let's say, for example, that Rolling Stone
Yeah,
article
yeah,
about roughnecks, like I think the thing maybe that they are serving is that sort of micro celebrity meta discussion where, like you said, the discussion is more is maybe disproportionately about the artist than the
yeah,
art.
and not the
And
art.
that
Yeah,
there's definitely something to be said about that. I think in this case it's fascinating to me that that might be the case. And although I will give what's his name, fucking I forget his name, the guy that wrote
yeah,
that article.
yeah.
I
I don't
forget.
remember either. Yeah,
He did speak to the content a bit, but there is something to be said about how even like a guy like Ryan Specs has got so you've got to take it upon yourself to like now enact the role of this celebrity, right?
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So we all when the door is knocking, when opportunity
Yeah.
knocks for us all, we're all going to have to stand up and deal with that in some way.
Yeah.
And so I more or less blame the institution of Rolling Stone, but then again, they're trying to trump up,
They want money. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and you need a good bad guy or a
Yeah.
good guy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. 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 Well,
I
that's
think it was
media. That's the media. I mean, that's like the media as a
yeah.
whole, and I'm sure it's that way. It's that way in Canada too, right? The media is no better there, right?
No, I mean the media sucks here. But I mean, as far as the incel thing too, like the even I think a lot of the dudes that are in our scene and most of the artists I think that are sort of in my periphery and in my general vicinity, they actually are at least they've kind of gotten over the like pure inceldom,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pure angst. But like even for example, the book Incel
Yeah. I
is
remember
like
that one. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, the most incelly of them.
Yeah.
And even let's say mixtape Hyperborea, it's like
Yeah.
there's like this a certain generation graduated and then now they're kind of reminiscing on that and
Mhm.
that and when they were graduating they were incels and they were kind of extremists in some way, and there's this kind of cooling that I've noticed being in some of these group chats with these kids,
Yeah.
and it is sort of interesting to see it round off now, and I'm interested to see where that goes. If it can be parlayed into like a real mainstream scene, then I'm definitely there for that. But like this is the trajectory that was lit during COVID.
Yeah.
Like the things that were made, they touched all of us. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Adam was there, you were there, I
Yeah.
was there,
Mhm.
Air Xhan was there,
Yeah. Yeah.
Nesmer was there.
Nesmer. Yeah. Nesmer. Definitely Nesmer.
So
Yeah.
like once that has grown a fermentation, then I
Mhm.
think it might take a long time, but there's going to be names from that scene that will be elevated to the mainstream, and all we got to do is keep doing that Hal Jaffe thing, right? Just keep
Yeah. Yeah.
pissing it
Keep
and
pissing in the
keep
wind. Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
keep working, right? And
Yeah.
if it's you're a starving artist or you're like you go to fucking work every day and then you
Yeah.
come home and you're trying to make your pod now, like
Yeah.
just keep rocking.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah.
I took time off. Like I'm making video games and like computer programs now. So
Yeah.
it's like, everyone's got to grow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They now, I mean, we know that that's usually how it is for writers, right? We have to have some sort of other thing that we do because, writing if you're not Stephen King and you're not J.K. Rowling and you're not, those people, you have to have some other thing that makes you money and because unfortunately we live in a capitalistic world, not just society, because you could say, oh, United States, capitalist, right? Canada, capitalist. Mexico, capitalist. I mean, it's all capitalist. Every single part of it is capitalist. So does in my I guess a question would be like some of that angst, can it be shifted to that? Like I feel like can we shift from the dynamic of I need to get pussy to make it to be we need money and let's give as much as we can to the I guess realization of that, because but the sad part is that usually gets connected with like, oh, this person's a communist or this person's a this or this person's a that. I don't consider myself a communist at all. I consider myself, I guess, kind of hovering close to that just because I'm not a big fan of capitalist society, because I would love to just sit back and write the rest of my life and not have to bother with bills or a job or any of that shit. Um, but I also don't want to be homeless, you know? So that's the whole thing. So do you
Yeah.
feel like, do you feel like writing, not just in our scene, but just in general, can be pivoted into that like space without it being like political in any way or like toxically political, I guess.
I don't know. I think things are really changing. I'm kind of an AI doomer.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the whole landscape, I think in some way is going to change. like a maybe if not quickly, then slowly, like a slow boiling frog.
Yeah.
Uh, I definitely think that like the angsty, horny, violent energy of the incel movement can be transmuted, and I think as these dudes age, they
They'll
probably,
get there.
uh,
Yeah, they'll get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think like a lot of like I think this it's a funny dichotomy, and you once you stop thinking with your balls, then
Yeah.
you really like you can sort of see the world a much clearer because like I it's like when I'm not in a relationship, I want a relationship, and then when I'm in a relationship, I don't want. And the
Yeah,
grass,
I
if
know
you
exactly.
feel it,
Yeah, I know,
grass
man.
feels greener.
That's right.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm 40 years old. You know, I wanted children and I wanted a family, and I
yeah.
didn't
Mhm.
I'm disappointed in that.
Yeah. Well,
So you know,
I watch 90 Day Fiance. If you I don't know if you've ever seen that
hell
show.
yeah,
I watch it with
yeah,
my wife. If believe me, there's still time. There's people on there. There's guys on there that are like 57 that have like 23-year-old Thai women, and they're just
yeah,
impregnating them immediately. So
yeah,
that could be you. You know, just take the next 17 years to get your shit together, and then you could
yeah.
pop out a bunch of Happa babies. But like, you know,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But no, I get what you're saying though. It's like I'm 40 as well, um, and you know I have a wife, I have a stepson. I don't have a biological child, but that does I take care of him just as I would a biological child. I would, and yeah, there is disappointment, at some of the shit, some of the decisions I made in my life, or what have you. I didn't start going. I actually didn't go to college until I was 27, 28, somewhere around there. So I took 10 years off. I graduated at 17, and then I was like, I'm just going to party and fuck around for 10 years. And that's what I did. I did drugs, I drank, I did all that stupid shit. Um, but then when I finally got serious about everything, I thought, fuck, man, like, I think I waited too long to do that. Like, I should have done it back when I was 17. I should have gone to college immediately. I should have done all this shit immediately because then who knows where the hell I would have been, where I'd be right now if I would have made that decision. And I'm sure you have a similar story, right?
sure.
How did it start with you?
Well, I mean, like I mean, well, my life is just like my life's been a mess, really. I mean, but you and I are interesting. I think why maybe we just sort of have a closeness because there's like a lot of trauma
Yeah,
in the
big time.
early. There's
Mhm.
like lots of like early trauma that shapes the later life. But I think what's more interesting is that like I don't feel like the windows are closed. You know,
Yeah,
I know there's a whole future and stuff. There's possibilities, but the thing that's the hardest thing about being 40 and let's say starting over is
yeah,
that it's that you've already like developed your behavior patterns.
yeah,
And if your behavior patterns are loser patterns, you're
yeah.
never going to grow. And
Exactly.
so
Yeah,
I mean, I'm good at redefining myself and looking at my patterns, and I'm pretty scrappy. And so
yeah,
I've sort of committed, I've sort of like um a few years ago I ended up like deciding to be a drug dealer. And
yeah,
so like deciding to be a criminal and it ended in a ton of trauma and a ton of violence and
yeah,
ever since then since I sort of rescued myself, I dedicated my life to pretty much being a starving artist.
yeah.
And it's not always pretty. I work. I don't really work when I don't want to, or what I get my rent and then I make art.
Yeah, and
And so,
it's probably a lot tougher in Canada, right? Because the just the way the economy is there is, I mean, I would say it's just as shitty as America or as United States. I always say America, but everything's America. The
right.
United States, the USA. But I'm sure is it? Do you think that the economy there is worse? I'm pretty sure it is, right? In some
I mean,
ways.
maybe it's like, yeah, but it's tough for sure. There might be a better net. The really tough part is if I want to go on neat bucks,
Yeah.
then they don't let you really work at all.
Oh,
And
really?
so
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
so there's like this edge, right? It's nothing really. My rent is very cheap.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's nothing for me to like. I'm a minimalist. Like I've got my books and I got my computer, and
yeah,
so there's nothing. You know, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if you can kind of hack your life like that, but I don't think it's any more expensive. I mean, you know what I have noticed about America
What's that?
is that Americans actually in general, and this is a real thing, is that they're just they just have more hustle. And like
Yeah.
I live on Vancouver Island. We call
Mhm.
it island time. And that pretty much just means like it's like, have you ever been to Jamaica? Where
Yeah,
people are
that's
like,
it. Yeah, that's
no, no,
the
go,
yeah,
what you want to do? Like
yeah. Yeah.
everyone's like,
Who
everyone's
cares?
like,
Yeah,
yeah, oh, like I'll go to work tomorrow.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're all like contractors out here, so it's like easy enough. I was doing computer contracting. My friend was a top. There's a lot of trades guys out here,
Yeah.
right? So all my friends can just kind of do that. And I don't know. My other friend too owns a farm, and he doesn't like he. We got our money, and he bought a farm, and
Yeah.
so you can get out in all these ways, right? I didn't really get out. I went deeper into I got in more trouble. So
Yeah.
I
What
mean,
kind of so like so I'm interested in so you've got all these tradespeople right in Canada. You've got fishermen, right? There's fishermen out there, a
oh
lot of them,
yeah,
right? A shit ton,
oh yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah.
So where's the tell me since you said you were a drug dealer, where's the who are you selling drugs to? Like who's buying the drugs?
Well, my shtick was I would go up to rural BC. So I go up to a
Yeah,
small town in
got it.
BC
Yeah.
called Clearwater,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other little towns out there, real small towns. And there's a pipeline going through. The government's building a pipeline from
Hmm.
Alberta to the coast.
Yeah.
And so all these towns have a bunch of roughnecks come through them building this pipeline.
This pipeline, yeah.
So I pretty much follow the pipeline up all the way, and you could set up shop in any of those towns. My guy set me up in a town, and then I set up a bunch of little dudes, and it was my job to manage all the dudes and
Yeah.
selling cocaine in the rural BC, following these roughneck pipeliners as they build this infrastructure from Alberta to the coast.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was making as much money as one of these dudes.
Yeah, of course
Like
you were. Yeah, of course you were.
these
Yeah.
dudes make, but and every one of these guys can make like $1,000 a day, like
Yeah,
or
yeah,
more, like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah,
And it's like, and it's like, there's just so much money. And it was such a gold mine that
yeah,
a lot of violence ended up happening. And I'm not like I went up there to because every other part of the province is taken.
yeah.
Up there, it's no man's land. And when you get up there, and then dudes start moving in, and like they take one look at me, and I'm like, I'm not a fighter, Robert. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm an
like
artiste. I'm an artiste.
I'm a writer. You
I'm a
know,
writer,
we're
not a
different
fighter.
stuff.
Yeah,
So I mean, I was just like I was a flashy little bitch, and when the real gangsters showed up, I had to move, and it wasn't worth it to keep on outrunning that thing. Yeah.
yeah. What? So I only partook in drugs. I never sold them. Because I just I've always had an aversion to being caught doing anything criminal. Of course, like I download shit, I do all that illegal,
Oh, see, yeah, okay,
digital illegal shit. But I mean,
yeah.
like I would
You wouldn't
never,
download a car. Yeah,
I
I
would,
got it.
yeah, I would if I could. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You would, if I could 3D print a Bugatti right now, I would definitely do that. But yeah, but no, I just, I don't know so when, after what made you stop essentially? What made you quit the drug deal thing? Did you get caught or what happened?
I did get caught,
Yeah.
but I didn't get. I got searched and I got spooked,
Oh, got it. Okay.
and then I got found out kind of in my town, and I got kind of played out in that tiny town, and it was a good scene for me.
Yeah.
And and then my guy went to Peru, and I had to hold shit down while he
Yeah.
was away. But shit fell apart because he wasn't supplying me. So
Yeah.
I got a new supply, and I was using his phone to bump this new supply.
Yeah.
And he came back. He was in Peru, and he was in Peru, and he got choked. He called me, and he was pissed that I was using his phone to bump the new supply. He thought I would just go dark, and I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta make money. I gotta pay rent,
Yeah.
and he was fucking unhappy. He came back from Peru, and we went on a mission to clean up this chick's mess in
Yeah.
Vail Mount, and we took a U-Haul up there, and two people went into the back of that U-Haul and one came out. We drove that U-Haul then and dropped it off in Blue River and
Yeah.
picked up his car. Took the car from Blue River then, and our associate took care of the U-Haul.
Yeah.
And then he dropped me off. We were doing bumps the whole time, lines, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
He dropped me off and he was like, tomorrow we're going back to Vail Mount and it's you and me.
Yeah. And
And
that's
I was
it.
like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, that's right. Let's do it. We'll go. And then he left and I packed my shit and I took a bus in the morning
Yeah.
because I was going to be, it was me. It was, I was next on,
Yeah.
I
You
was
were
on
gonna
the,
be the guy. Yeah, we're gonna be the next person in the U-Haul.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
So yeah.
and I ran away and that was that. And, she very well, I mean, she's gone, man. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
real. It was really rough. These were Pakistanis. So I was
Yeah.
clicking up with the Pakistanis and then Asians started coming around and she started getting supply from Asians
Yeah.
and I started getting supply from Asians as well. I didn't know they were Asians at the time
Yeah.
through a bartender that I knew. And he came back and he was so mad about this that he whacked her. And
Yeah.
then he was just saving me. I don't know who else he ran through. I don't know.
So where were these Asians from?
Vancouver.
They were from Vancouver, like originally, or what? I'm talking about like what nationality were they? Were they
I
from
assume Chinese triads, but
Chinese
I
triad? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I assume
I was thinking that because China's been moving into like everything lately. I was just talking to a
yeah,
buddy of mine about gold because he's like really big into like gold and everything. And I was like, China owns like a huge portion of Africa now. And I'm like,
yeah,
if they find any more gold in Africa, it'll be that the Chinese found it. You know what I mean? And they'll have all that gold. Um, the same with
yeah.
lithium and all that. I was talking one of the other episodes. I don't know if you watched it or not. Was with my buddy who does lithium ion batteries, and he helps with the manufacturing. And he was telling me about how all these different places, Europe, Asia, Russia, all these places, they all have like a huge supply of lithium to create these batteries with. And yeah, it's just it's crazy, but it's all about supply and demand. It's all about resources. And that's what a lot of these wars have always been fought for. But nobody understands it. Nobody gets it. And when you try to tell them about it, they kind of look at you like you're crazy. When you're like, there's this huge. Now I'm gonna actually what's it called? Say the right thing because the last in that podcast with the guy with the lithium ion batteries, I said that there was a huge lithium deposit underneath the Gaza Strip, and that's why the Israelis want it. But it's actually a natural gas. There's this huge natural gas
Oh,
like
geez.
pocket, yeah, right underneath where the water is there, the Gaza Strip,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's probably like that's probably why they're doing that. They're not, they use the guise of like, oh, it's a holy war and like that was promised to us 3,000 years ago and all this other happy horse shit. But that's really not reality.
Sure.
The reality is they want the resources, you
Well,
know.
look at Venezuela. Look at
Yeah. Oh
Venezuela.
yeah, big time. Oil. Like that's where
Yeah.
we are now. We're at
Yeah.
the oil thing. And then who the fuck knows what's going to happen there, but like uh, who like did you before that happened, how worried were you about Venezuela? Like before that occurred?
Right.
Like did you give a shit? Like nobody did. Nobody even I couldn't even fucking spell Venezuela until I saw it in the news. You know what I mean? So
It was the
I,
same. It's an opportunistic strike. If it's really no different than, I mean, it's much different tactically, let's say, but it's like it's proactive political war maneuvering. And if that's cool, but like Ukraine isn't, like the line
yeah,
is so blurry.
it
And I
is.
mean, like,
Yeah.
and like, I don't know, we were all like, the whole movement was pretty much not about that. And now everyone is impressed by it. And like,
Yeah.
I don't like, it's just so bananas to me. Like,
Mhm.
I sometimes have to put on my fucking like I sometimes have to put on my like I gotta go into the chamber, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It kills
the
me. It just
the Iron Maiden. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you were talking earlier about how you're not a communist and like there's no good alternatives. It's sort of like I kind of hear you because
Yeah.
I think in the future, like as jobs maybe are taken and
Mhm.
human processes and maybe human industries become more automated, in order to like keep the masses from rioting and revolution, they're gonna have to there's a lot of like I think there's going to be a trend toward a general sense of socialism
Yeah.
because
The neat bucks will flow. That's
yeah, the new books, well, something's got to give, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I mean,
yeah.
you can't keep stacking. Like if
No.
if we're talking about, if we're talking about real god level stacking now, then yeah. So I don't have any disillusions about that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I again, I say this every single episode, but it ends up happening anyway. I don't mean to get political at all on these things, but because any fucking thing that you say can be construed and skewed in a different way.
The thing is this, so this woman that I love a lot, she's far leftist. She admits to being like she says she's left of communist. And I was like, well, I
I
think
like her
maybe
already. No, I'm just kidding. No,
yeah, but yeah. So,
no.
she was, I think, one of the things that it is politically, politics and race always end up
Yeah,
getting intermingled, right?
yeah,
And there's sometimes you really got to like breathe and parse and
yeah,
take things apart and
yeah,
disassemble things properly when you're speaking on them.
yeah,
And realistically, as a Canadian,
yeah,
um, I'm pretty much center left on a lot of practical issues.
yeah,
Um, and I present myself as far right, like I would enact far right policies
yeah,
as a reaction. So maybe
yeah,
I'm a reactionary.
yeah.
And so
That makes more sense. That makes more
and
sense.
that's ugly. That's a
Yeah,
bitch
it
move.
is.
Actually,
No,
it's a bitch move to be. And so, like, you
yeah,
know, if I got to find my own thing, then I want that to be. I want to. You have to find your political voice in that realm, and I'm way too far of a spaz. My political theory is spastic, and I don't think I'm like not one to. I feel disenfranchised by a lot of institutional systems, and of
yeah,
course, I have angst regarding that.
yeah,
Um, but maybe also I'm privileged. Maybe like they're telling me I've got privilege.
yeah,
So if
yeah,
so, there's maybe the spectrum of like acknowledging your context in the world becomes this like political um, revelation,
yeah,
and I appreciate the nuance of that, and you letting me speak to that.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad you kind of were able to parse that out. My thing though, when you were speaking, was that I was thinking in my head, you won't have any privilege on the day of the rake. Okay, so just remember, just
That's
remember
right.
that. Remember
I'll be
that the
first.
day of
Yeah,
the rake
I'll
is
be
gonna
first
happen.
in the bag.
That's right. Yeah, the Leafs will flow. But no, yeah, no. I was telling I was on, Kevin, the
Yep.
my buddy's that was on the pod. He has a podcast too, and I went and recorded with him. Uh, it was
Okay.
2 days ago, a couple days ago, and he was. We were talking about all that and how he like. He told me he's a black guy, and he was telling me he's like, if Trump did something that was great, he's like, I'd be the first to acknowledge that.
I saw
That
that.
he
Yep.
did so, yeah, yeah, and all that, and that's the truth. That's how I feel too. It's like
Yeah.
if he did something good for everybody, then fuck it, whatever. But like a lot of what he's doing is just like very, I don't know. It's like it's very childish and shit. Like it seems like but the other thing that I had to remind Kevin of, and I, always try to remind myself too while I'm watching this, is that he's a fucking he's a clown. He's like the jester. He's like the guy that everybody's watching and puts their angst on and their bullshit onto. And he isn't really in charge of anything. There's like people behind the scenes that are doing all that. Like the Rothschilds and the fucking Bilderberg Group and all these other like shadowy organizations that nobody likes to talk about or say on the internet, but I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I don't like what
Yeah.
do you think that that's like not a conspiracy? I feel like it's not really a conspiracy. I feel like it's like there are people behind the scenes making all these because
Oh yeah.
he just seems like he's a buffoon most of the time when he talks and everything. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's so smart and he's this racist guy and all this stuff." And it's like I mean, like, is he really though, or does he really not understand what's going on? And they're just kind of like, oh yeah, you're doing a good job, sir. Like he's surrounded by yes men, and then behind the scenes there's a guy that's like pressing the button, and he's like, there you go, fuck you, there you go.
There's a fully baked apparatus that surrounds the presidency that cushions so much. And Trump actually, I think, was a bit innovative by breaking down that system a bit because he's so fucking brash and individualistic. But
Yeah,
like for example, when Reagan at the end of Reagan's presidency, he was losing cognitive ability to like a Joe Biden degree,
yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah,
even worse. And
yeah,
like Reagan lost his marbles and he
yeah.
was
His
still
jelly
sitting.
beans.
That's right. Yeah. And so there is cushion for that. Trump is like there's like you can tell that he has like limited cognitive ability. Okay, did you see the Rob, what's his name, guy that made Stand By Me?
Oh, Rob Reiner. Yeah, yeah.
Did you see Trump's tweet about
Yeah, yeah,
his
yeah, about how like yeah he was always gonna like because he was a far liberal and he's like his policies are what made yeah, 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 all that shit, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know, no, I get it,
like the
right.
clown where it gets, so there's definitely this apparatus, there's definitely like that. I think a lot, it's an ever shifting face, and so it definitely used to be, it has roots in these things that you described, Bilderbergs, let's say
Yeah.
even Masons, and like these
Oh, the
traditional
Masons, big time. Yeah, yeah, big
shadow
time. Yeah,
organizations.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But it's such a shifting face now that it's like literally represented by like some ever changing nameless like multinational out of like,
Saudi Arabia. No, no, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
The
or
Saudis,
Ukraine,
man. The
yeah, or
Saudis.
something. Totally, there's a corruption, and like
Well, if the
Saudi
Ukrainians, if
Saudi
there's
Arabia is so
Ukrainians,
corrupt,
yeah,
so
I was gonna say if there's Ukrainians that are in charge of everything, it's our money that made it. So that's
it's your money. Well,
it's
I
my
mean, I guess,
my money. Yeah,
yeah,
both of your
Canadians,
money too.
well,
Yeah,
we all did.
yeah. But no, yeah,
Well,
no,
that's a good
I totally
example.
get
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
look at COVID. Look, there's psyops going on still around us that are
Hmm.
like, there's those old boys that we are still pointing our fingers at
Yeah.
are they're on their laurels, and like the new cowboys that are jockeying for like the top reptilian,
Yeah. Hmm.
those are the guys now. Like, I don't know, I don't
I
know,
was just
man.
talking about reptilians actually with my coworker at my job because he was like, "Oh, do you think that those are real and all this other stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course they are." And I don't have proof of it, obviously. Like, here's a picture or whatever. But I was having a conversation with a professor of mine at one point, and I swear to God, we were having a conversation. I was looking him right in the eye, and his fucking eyelids blinked sideways, and it scared the shit out of me. And I never talked to that person again. I was like, I'm not talking to this person ever again. And I'm not going to say their name or anything. But no, I fucking wake up tomorrow and they're like standing above me in my bed. But because they have the power, these
That's
reptilians.
right,
I'm
dude.
not down with that shit. But
Color.
I did see something very, and I wasn't on drugs. I'm clean. I've been clean and sober for many, many years. And how about you? Have you been clean for a while, or have you been still doing shit?
No, I'm clean on like drugs. I'm smoking
Y-
weed, obviously.
Oh no, I don't
But
accept weed isn't a
yeah,
drug. I've
no,
never thought
yeah,
it. So yeah, yeah,
no. It's like it's a hard no,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. Good. Yeah, yeah. How about booze?
But yeah,
You not drinking
I
or
mean,
anything?
I still drink. I drink a little bit of beer. I mean, drinking
Yeah.
is really bad for like the soul. So you can't,
Well, it's
you
good.
can't.
It's bad for the soul, but it's good for writing. It's always good for writing. That's what they, you know what I mean. Some of my best stuff came from drinking, and I had to shift obviously when I quit. And what I shifted to was I listened to uh, what's it called? Cop scanners, like scanner from like the LAPD. I listen to that very low, and then I have like drone, like kind of electric drone music in the
Yeah,
background of that, and
yeah.
like listening to that in the dark with like no lights on and just the computer or whatever. Fucking, I could literally write 20 manuscripts with just that, and that was like my shift from I need
Whoa,
to do this sober, you know what I mean? Like, and so because
whoa.
otherwise it just wasn't going to happen, you know. And I was going to just give up on writing after I quit drinking. But yeah, a lot of people drink, you know. Some of the best writing of like Charles Bukowski, who's like one of my favorite fucking human beings
Yeah,
who's ever lived. And a lot of
yeah.
people say it's fucking weird that I think that, but he, the drinking and the debauchery and everything that guy, he was like a I call him a modern day Diogenes. You know what I mean? He was like fucking one of. No, he was. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you ever seen the Bukowski tapes, the 4 hour like documentary about him, like that?
Oh no, I've not watched those, but
Dude,
I
you need to what? Dude, I bought it on eBay. There was a so my buddy told me about it because I was really into. He's like, oh, you got to watch the Bukowski tapes, and so I found um it was like I forget what the fuck that movie was called. There was like they used bits and pieces of it and they made it into like a movie of the Bukowski tapes. And he's like, no, you got to find the 4 hour one. And I couldn't find it fucking, you know, I tried to torrent it and everything. And then I found somebody selling it on eBay on like a DVD copy of it. And I bought that. It was like $30 or $40 or whatever. But I bought that. And man, I sat and I watched the whole 4 hours of it. And I was like changed as a human being. I was like, this is the
yeah.
greatest thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I will watch this once a year. And it's 5 stars. I mean, 5 stars. Like if you're a writer and you don't watch the Bukowski tapes, stop writing. Like because there's just no way you're gonna be. You know, there's no way anybody's gonna be as good as him. Him and John Fonte. John Fonte is another one. I don't know if have you ever read Ask the Dust? Have you ever
No.
read that, dude? You got to read Ask the Dust because that's what inspired Bukowski to even do what he did. He was walking through I think he talks about it a little bit in the Bukowski tapes, but I think he just talked about it in general. He was walking through the library in downtown Los Angeles, and he asked one of the librarians, he goes, can you point me in the direction of a book that's written in LA and about LA? And the librarian was like, well, we got books like that over there in that corner, you know. And he fucking finds Ask the Dust just sitting there, and it had been out of publication for so long or whatever. And he like, you know, he picks it out of the thing, and he said he blew the cover, and it was just dust coming off, you know, whatever. And he opened it up, and he was like, "This is who I am. This is who we are. This is everything." And he was right. I mean, I read it, and I was like blown away by how amazing it was, and it was so good that he got it republished with
Fonte.
yeah, yeah, he got Fonte republished, and then they made a movie about Ask the Dust. They made a movie based on with Colin Farrell and Selma Hayek are in it, who like you
Oh,
know, yeah, and it's not a great movie, but it is. I
God,
mean,
it's
yeah,
right.
it's pretty spot on as far as like you know. But I'd say read the book. Obviously, I would never. The only time I'd say watch the movie over the book is stuff like I don't know. My favorite movie of all time is Jurassic Park. And I would say they did a way better job with the material, just making it. It's not the book, that's for sure. But the material and like the visuals and everything, obviously, I would have never been able to figure out that a Tyrannosaurus Rex looks like that. Like, even though, you know, I was 8 years old or whatever when that movie came out and when I read the book too, you know. And, but yeah, so I don't know. What's your favorite book of all time?
That's awesome. Gosh. Well, I appreciate that you love Jurassic Park a lot. That's
It's
really
a good
great.
one. Yeah, Michael Crichton
That was
was
so,
great, man.
so
Yeah,
fucking good.
yeah.
I like Watership Down a lot, man.
Oh man, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Probably one of my faves. I mean, the one of like the books that I read, it's kind of like when you watch a movie and you watch just the same movie again for no reason, just because
Yeah.
it's come. But I guess like I have a copy of Infinite Jest that I can just pick up and pull apart. I
Yeah.
guess one of the things that I like about reading is because I just pick a book and it's on my nightstand, and I love I and like I have so many. That's all I have.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't know if
Watership
you see
Down's
behind. I don't know if you can see behind me. Look at all my books and shit. Right
yeah, man.
there. Yeah,
It's
yeah. I've got so many of them. Like, and that's just two. I have like 10 bookshelves like that are filled like that. And then I've got the entire, like almost the entirety of National Geographic below all that stuff because I fucking love National Geographic too, man. I just love that shit. But no, all the Mesmer eggplant is actually and Fed Book.
hell
Fed Book is right
yeah.
over there. I love Fed Book. That's another good
Represent.
one. Yeah, always, man.
Yeah, but I mean that's great. Jurassic Park is amazing. Jurassic Park is really cool because it's when you read it, it makes you want to make a movie about it, and
Yeah,
then you kind of realize that there's just so much to it that,
yeah.
and the vibe is a little bit different. The vibe in the book is like
It's not the same. Yeah.
it's kind of more fun because it's more like the I don't know, the way he sets it up is more realistic, so it's more simulation
Well, he
and
wrote it. He wrote it. Obviously, he wrote it as a thriller and not as like a fucking blockbuster film. Because the obviously the Spielberg thing is not. It doesn't. It has thriller elements, but it's not a thriller. It's like something
yeah,
that you can take an 8-year-old, like I was too, and they're like, ooh, ah, dinosaur, like whatever. But when my mom bought me the book. Because she bought me the book before I saw the movie, and she was like, "Here's Jurassic Park," and I thought I had just seen the trailer, and I thought, "Oh man, like it's going to be the greatest dinosaur movie of all time." And I'm like, and I'm holding the book, and I'm thinking, "Oh man, this book is going to be like fucking Lord of the Rings, but with dinosaurs," you know? And I open it up, and it's like some of the first things like a baby being fucking eaten by a like a
yeah,
small compy, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, what is going on? You know, or guys with huge gashes on the sides of their bodies because they've been ripped apart by a raptor, and and they're
that's
like
right.
talking about the foam coming out of the wounds and shit because
That's right.
Because Crichton was a doctor, right? And so he, you know, he could write about all those things in a very visceral way, and yeah, no, did you read anything other than Jurassic Park that Crichton wrote?
Yeah, let's see. I think I read a bit of Sphere.
Yeah, Sphere
Was it
was.
Sphere?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Did you ever read Timeline?
Andromeda Strain, no.
Dude, to the audience and to you, Timeline, especially the first part, like the beginning of it. So there's two books that I've ever read that the beginnings of those books were better than everything else in the book, but I mean you could still read the whole thing. And that's Timeline by Michael Crichton. The beginning is masterful, and then Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Like
Okay.
there's a whole section in the beginning of Hellbound Heart where like I literally tasted what Clive Barker was like talking about, and I thought, "Fuck, I've never read anything written by somebody where I could taste it in my mouth." Like, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh man, this is fucking amazing." Yeah, but yeah, very very visceral shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Clive Barker's really, really incredible. One of my favorites from him that I always crack open is called The Great and Secret Show.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fuck
I've read that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's huge, right? He's
yeah.
just really readable. And I often like it. I
And
want to be
he's
able,
gay, right? Isn't he gay?
oh yeah, he's
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
yeah,
gay.
he's gay. Yeah, yeah. So like
Yeah.
these gay writers who were like fucking admit like him,
Chuck.
Brent Easton Ellis, yeah, Chuck. I
Yeah.
mean, like all those
Yeah.
guys are like, you'd think that they wouldn't, or that not that they wouldn't like connect with a mostly straight audience, but they do. You know what I mean? Like to the point where, you know, especially like Hellraiser. I mean, like think about that. Like it's so kinky and shit. Like it's all, you know what I mean? It's like an
Yeah.
amazing kinky thing. And it's like you got these straight guys like, oh yeah, I love horror. I love Hellraiser. And it's like, yeah. Or like the guys that love Fight Club. You know, if you don't read Fight Club or think about Fight Club in a way that like a gay guy wrote it and it's
Yeah.
about men
Yeah.
like fucking just coming together and
Yeah.
pounding on each other, and you're like, oh well, of course that's what it is, right?
What?
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on. And then they're like, this is my whole personality. It's like, okay, like, cool, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's something about those writers that are like a lot of their content is especially well, I mean I've read a lot of Palahniuk. I guess I've read more Palahniuk
Yeah.
than ridiculous. But like there's a lot of degenerate shit that like they tap into through
Yeah,
experience, right? And like you can tap into like we've all done some fucked up shit. And
we
so
have. Yeah, yeah.
so taking I mean those guys, if you find success as a writer and
Mhm.
like during the like you become a cultural icon like
All right. So anyway, I'm not. I'm just gonna edit all that obviously out. But I was sitting here like I'm like Ryan, where are you, Ryan? Anyway, what were you saying before everything cut out?
I can't remember now.
Okay, cool. It was about Palinuk and
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like you get to a point where like they're so important, and I don't know, like being gay. Like I said, it's like no one expects anything more of them. I mean, honestly, I think, but like I think you could offer those guys up, like those. Honestly, they might even just be like transsexual. Those dudes, like
yeah,
they might be so like I don't know what it's like to be like so clicked up. It could be just normal guys. Chuck Palahniuk maybe just likes to cuddle with the guy at the end of the day. But I
yeah.
mean, I think it's hilarious what you said. Like a lot of these bros will maybe build their
They
personality
do.
around
Yeah, yeah.
Palahniuk, right?
Yeah, they will. Because like yeah, I mean look at Fight Club, look at American Psycho. Like American Psycho's a big one, right? Like everybody's like, "Oh, I'm Patrick Bateman." Like do you know how metrosexual and like closeted Patrick Bateman is? Like
Yeah.
it's like so yeah, the dude like the face
Same with
mask,
Ellis.
all that
Yeah.
oh yeah, 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 all that stuff. Um but yeah, no, I don't know if they see the irony in it or if they want to see the irony, you
Well,
know?
I think that's a really good point because I don't necessarily I think Ellis maybe speaks a lot maybe for more of the like the like whatever was brewing near the heart of the culture
Yeah, at
that's
that time. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I think now I definitely think like there's an emphasis on maybe more masculine writing and maybe in some ways that's why we're seeing a reflection of the artists more so than their art because we want to make sure that our heroes are worth looking up to. And that was pretty much all of lit, like like
Yeah.
that's how, when I got into I was like 16 when I got into philosophy and I got a Sartre book, right? So I started reading Sartre. I don't think I understood any of it as a 16-year
who
old, but
who understands it now? I mean,
yeah, yeah, but and so I kind of chose Sartre because I didn't, anyway. And so when I remember getting to lit, of course, years later,
yeah.
and and like Sartre's shit. Look at him,
Yeah.
that guy. You want to don't
Look at that guy. Yeah,
look at
yeah,
that
yeah,
guy. And so you know, I think maybe there's like that's a reaction too, because in some ways, a lot of these bros maybe feel like they got had by guys like Ellison and Clive Barker, and I don't
yeah,
know, and they're not all from the same clique, but
yeah. No, I know, but yeah, it's like I said, it's just funny the irony. And then I guess the other, I mean, when you talk about philosophy, who's the big figurehead for in that same sense of like Palahniuk and all those guys is Foucault. Foucault was
well,
like that guy that like they all look at and they're
well,
like, oh well, you know, the panopticon and all this other shit and everything. It's like, yeah, we're all there, like we get it, but but again, these guys see no irony in following those philosophies or taking on those personas basically, and then they're like, oh, why don't women want me? It's like you're not for women anymore, bro. Like you're for guys now. You know what I
that's
mean? Like that's you're not for women. Like that's not, yeah. So that's why it's fun. And then the whole thing with Ryan Gosling, where it's like, oh, I watched a movie, right? I watched Drive and now I am that character, shit like that. Like it's like who are the people doing this? Like I've never walked into like a movie, watched it, and then been like, I am that, like so I told you my favorite movie is Jurassic Park, right? I fucking love, love, love my favorite actor of all time. I always say this is Jeff Goldblum, and it's because of that movie. It's because of Jurassic Park. Because and not because like when I left the theater, I was like, oh, I want to be Ian Malcolm because I was only 8 years old. There's no way I could have been Ian Malcolm, but it was just like he embodied everything that was counterintuitive to that film. Like it was like the film was very like fucking like look at all these cool dinosaurs and how we fucked with science and everything. And then Jeff Goldblum in that film is like, well, I am science and I don't budge. Like science doesn't budge, right? Science is science whether or not you believe in it. You know what I mean? It'll keep changing, bro. No matter what, it keeps changing and it does not budge, you
It
know.
is it is a genius. The genius of the framing of Goldblum's character, like through the frame of his his discipline, which is chaos theory.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
And so that whole thing was so brilliant. Like what Crichton really did in so many ways on so many levels was so damn good. He found something and it was so good that like just like he's probably got more movies of his books than not, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And did you watch Westworld, the show, when it came out?
Yeah, but I've seen him into Westworld,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, that's
More
and that's
too.
all based on Crichton shit too. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, what I've always said, and I'll say it here in case this podcast becomes big or whatever, and somebody watches it one day. I think that they should turn Jurassic Park into one of those HBO miniseries. I think they should. That should have been the first thing they did after this Jurassic World crap ended. They should have been like, we're gonna go to HBO, make a fucking make a 12-part miniseries about the first book, then make a 12-part miniseries about the Lost World and be done. Like nothing else after that, nothing else before it. We're not gonna milk it. It just is what it is. And make the dinosaurs as like scary as they're supposed to be in the book, you know what I mean? Because they're not really, I mean, yeah, they're scary in the movie, but they're not like scary, you know what I mean? Like some of them you want to cuddle with and shit, you know what I mean? Like I remember I had like a blanket with the T-Rex on it when I was a kid. And it's like, if he was really that scary, like this is in the book, I wouldn't want to be fucking near that blanket. You know what I mean? But the fact that like Rexy is the name of the T-Rex, I don't know if you know that. That's the actual, like, that's the character's name. And I love Rexy. Rexy's like one of my favorite, like,
Like,
characters ever in a movie, you
oh,
know?
that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had to wash, and I remember the last time I watched Jurassic Park,
Mhm.
um, I really realized how kind of washed it
It is
was.
super
And
washed.
although
Yeah, yeah.
it's a banger, it's a
It
fucking
is.
banger.
No, it's like I
But
said, one of the greatest films ever made. Yeah. He's
it actually reminded me sort of, and this is probably heresy because Jurassic Park is a golden age film, you know,
yeah. Hmm.
and Avatar was much later. But when I watched Avatar, the first one, there's this kind of and they're way different. Like, forgive me, but
No,
there's this
yeah.
sort of hollowness, and I know that the source material for Jurassic Park, like it's trying, it really just it flattens a bunch of it and then buffs it, and
Yeah.
it and it's really remarkable what Spielberg did, but it is definitely a different beast, and there's no good way to do it but through a miniseries, like you
Yeah.
said. I feel like what you had that project where you were
Yeah,
wanting
I
to
was
want
trying to I was trying to write it, like trying to
I
write
think
the
maybe
actual thing.
you could
Yeah.
pivot actually on something, or if you were going to build a team around it, would
Hmm.
be to really transliterate it as honestly as you can,
Yeah, that's what
and
I was trying to do.
develop
Yeah.
episodic though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And if you could do it episodically, maybe based on chapters or something
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
make,
Yeah.
I think that like, because you're right, they really raped the franchise.
They did. It's no, it really, and they're trying to revamp it or whatever with this Scarlett Johansson crap, which I don't know if you've seen the newest one.
No.
I played it, I'm a high school teacher, and on Monday through Friday, and so I played that sequel, the Charles Johansson one, in the background while they were doing like one of these English tests that I give them, and like the kids did not want it on. Like that's how bad it is. They were like, "Could you please turn this off?" And I thought, "Fucking A, man! Like it's a Jurassic like movie. There's dinosaurs, but there's barely dinosaurs. That's the problem. Is because
Right.
it was made by what's his fucking name? It's the guy who did Rogue One. I don't know if you saw Rogue One, that
Yeah, I
Star
saw
Wars one.
Rogue One in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
theater. JJ
yeah.
Abrams?
No, no, it wasn't J.J. Abrams. It's some other guy. I can't remember his name right now. But um, forgive me, guy that made Rogue One, but he made this Rebirth movie, and he does this in every film because they said it was an amazing. They're like, oh, Rogue One's one of the greatest movies ever made. Let's give him a Jurassic Park movie. But he does the same thing, right? What happens at the end of
Oh,
Rogue
you
One?
see at the very end, you get the Death Star, right?
Yeah, yeah. You get the Death Star, and
Right,
you get Darth Vader, right? You get like the big
right.
right? Okay. Same thing in fucking Jurassic World. It's like 2 hours of nothing, and then at the end the dinosaurs show up. And I was like, this is not a Jurassic Park movie. Like the Jurassic Park movie, you have to lead with the dinosaurs. Like the
Yeah.
dinosaurs start and the dinosaurs finish. You know what I mean? And that's it. Like that's, and then you make $1 billion and that's it. But this guy didn't do that. What is his fucking name? I want to say Rian Johnson or something like that, but I might be
Oh,
wrong.
Ryan
Ryan
Johnson.
Johnson. It
Yeah.
might be him. I don't know. Like again,
Oh,
I'm not. I'm fucking people up and getting
is
them
it that
confused.
guy?
It
Is it
might
that
be
Ryan,
him. I don't
the
know.
guy that
I'm gonna
made
look it up
Knives
right
Out?
now while we're talking.
The guy
Um,
that made Knives Out?
I don't know if it was him. He might have been making Knives Out when this was happening, and that's not who it is. Jurassic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here it is. It just came up on Google. It is
That's
made
funny.
by Gareth Edwards. That's his name. Gareth Edwards.
Oh, okay.
He did Rogue One, and he did the
Okay.
Godzilla movie, the newest Godzilla, the
Okay.
2014 one, which
Okay.
again, that's another one where
Okay.
the
You're
whole
right.
movie and then
You're right.
Godzilla shows up for 15 minutes at the end of it.
You're
And
right. It
it's
was
like,
him
yeah,
the whole time.
the whole
So
movie,
that's his,
yeah, that's his shtick.
okay.
That's all he's
And
good
so
at.
and so you're actually right though, because the Spielberg Jurassic Park leads with what is the very first scene in Jurassic Park movie? Is it the
It's
child on
the
the beach?
Velociraptor. Remember when they're getting into the cage? They're getting it
Okay.
into the thing, and then it pops, and then the guy gets eaten, and then
And then
fucking
it's
yeah.
the child at the beach. Is there the child
No,
on
no,
the
no.
beach
Child of
scene?
the Beach is the Lost World. That's the second movie. But that's the thing though. You're right though in that the second movie like starts with a dinosaur too. Like it's like that's the thing. You're supposed to start with dinosaurs and then have dinosaurs throughout the whole movie and then end with big dinosaur, like big dinosaur fight or whatever.
In the book in
Yeah,
Jurassic Park,
yeah.
the book,
The book
though,
starts with the yeah.
okay,
It
okay,
starts with the same
okay.
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so
So
that's
you're
the
right though. Is
yeah.
at the beginning of the movie, it's Shoota,
Yeah, yeah,
Shoota.
Shoota. That's right. Yeah, Robert Muldoon, right? Who I forget the actor's name, but he's dead. He died of cancer.
Rip.
Yeah, rip in peace. But no, I'm glad that we're talking about all this stuff right now because it's needed. This discourse is
Shoota.
Shoota. This discourse is needed in the literature scene.
Well,
Um,
I genuinely think that you are onto something. I think like it does take a lot of effort, but your that sort of autistic idea you had of doing the full Jurassic Park screenplay,
yeah,
I think that's $1 million idea because
yeah,
I don't think anyone's done it. And if you were
no.
to do it, it would be a fucking it's going to
Yeah,
be a
it's gonna be
fatty.
huge. Yeah, I'm already on like
And
page 117 or something, and I'm barely through the book. Like, cause I say I'm going page to page, and like everything, and some of that dialogue. There's a whole page of dialogue, right? But I have to fucking describe what they're doing. So like it's got dialogue and the page. So then that page of dialogue continues on to the next page of screenplay, and all that shit. So like I don't know what do you have any experience with writing a screenplay at all or writing that in that format?
no, you know what? So I've taken it upon myself to write things in that format, but I've never put them out under my name.
Yeah.
Um, I
Do you have a
definitely,
lot of pen names? Do you do that?
yeah, I traditionally, yeah. Well, that was part of the lit thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean, it was never for me. I mean, when the first Tundra was happening, I remember I think I said it in the Discord. I wrote some little parts of that, and it's funny, like I put in between, like I would capitalize the R, the J's, and the C's in the parts, so then you knew it was me who did it.
uh,
So if you look up, I'm sure if you go on a Tundra and do like find and look at all the capital R's, J's, and C's, you'll be like, oh, that's what Robert did. But no, I've always used my real name because
yeah,
I think my name's very literary. So I mean, like I've always thought that how many. I mean, there's other people named Robert James Cross, but there's not a lot of writers named Robert James Cross. I don't think there's any writers named Robert Cross really.
right.
Yeah, but and then there's a lot of books called Shards, as I found out when Bret Easton Ellis got mad at me for my title. Again,
Yeah.
if he listens to this or watches this, I apologize, and I would gladly be on your podcast to argue with you about who had it first, and show you my fucking manuscript that I wrote in 2015 with that title. But
Well, when actually did he release his? Pretty much, I wasn't it
it was like
after
right near
yours?
where we did. It
It
was
was
like right near.
fucking
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there.
And that's why when
Like
I did
that
it,
was
he got mad about it, and me and him had a fucking argument, and he was like, "You
fuck.
bit my title." I was like, "I didn't bite your title. Like, I've been writing this forever." And I mean, unless he came, because his book, I've read the book. It's based in the 80s, right? In like the late 80s, early 90s or
Right,
whatever.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, if he was writing this since back then and it had that title, then by all means, whatever. But he never said that. He just said, "You bit my title." He never said anything about when it was written, when he came up with that title. Cause I think he can't. I think he can't be like, "Oh, yeah, I came up with that title in the 80s." Cause,
Yeah.
like, if he lies and says that, he's going to be untrue to himself. And I would
Yeah.
never lie and say, like, "Oh, yeah, I just came up with it when I saw fucking Bret
Yeah.
Easton Ellis was coming out with a book." I needed to have the next fucking, I needed to have a
Oh man.
shards book because Bret Easton
Well,
Ellis has one. You
yeah,
know?
I think it ended up I think it worked. Yeah, it wasn't a blessing or anything, but
No, no. It wasn't a
yeah.
curse either, though. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a curse
Yeah,
as far
well,
as my
I mean,
relationship with Bret Easton Ellis. But
his has the.
no, I
Yours
know.
doesn't have the.
Yeah, yeah. Mine does not have a the. Yeah, that's right. That's semantics. Let's do that because
That's right.
the semantics won't work in court at all. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's.
Well, I think
Are
we
you
did a
working on anything new right now?
yeah, I've got a novel that I've been writing for about 2 years now, and it's gonna be a banger. But I just haven't picked it up. I guess I get struck. I haven't put myself there yet. I'm working on a ton of computer projects,
Yeah, you're telling. Yeah.
and I'm about to parse this review for Zulu Alitzpa's book.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
Zulu's great. I love him.
so I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
writing when it comes to like writing, there's like outputting the the kind of here and now stuff, and then there's always like everyone wants to write another book, but how are and so I'll definitely get going with that. But
Yeah.
the next thing I'm going to do, I made a lawyer game where it says you're simulated as a lawyer.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
it works perfectly. Maybe I'll show you later. But
Yeah, show it to me. Yeah, yeah.
that where are you in your? Because I know you had some aspirations to do kind of a triptych yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of
I had a trilogy planned for Shards. It was going to be Shards, and then this book that I am in the midst of writing that I haven't finished called Imperium.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah, and then another one, and I can't remember the name of the other one at the moment, but it starts with an N because I wanted it
Yeah,
to be Sin Sin for
yeah,
Sin City because they all take place in Las Vegas.
yeah,
Um, But yeah, Imperium is an interesting one because I guess I'll say it here. It's very much influenced by American Psycho. So the funny thing is that the Bret Easton Ellis, I didn't steal his fucking title, but I will say that I stole some of the mojo and the GG, whatever, out of American Psycho to try to write Imperium. And what I wanted to do was kind of because I felt like Bret Easton Ellis's description of New York at the time was like so like metropolistic and whatever you want to call it. Like it was very it got under my skin and I was like, oh man, and I never got to experience that because I went to New York in around the time of Jurassic Park, so 1993-ish or whatever. And
okay,
I got to go into the World Trade Center. I did all that shit back then. But like I never got to like actually sit in there as an adult in the city and like take in how Bret Easton Ellis described it. So in my head, New York is that. New York is like a Martin Scorsese movie. Like New York is all this like fantasy shit in my head that isn't real, right? And I'd love to be there and like actually experience it, but I have
right,
experienced Las Vegas in that way. And so I thought I want to take some of that
right,
feeling, right, that he did for New York and translate it into Vegas. And it like I'm not doing anything like, oh, there's a fucking weird finance guy who's gonna kill people. So that's nothing. Like I said, I'm not taking like the story, but like
yeah,
just the essence of New York is getting transmuted, like we talked about earlier, transmutation into Las Vegas, because I feel like they're very similar, Las Vegas and New
Wow.
York, but not in the same way that people, not in ways that people would think, right? So, I remember I was walking my wife and my kid. They went to go see a jousting match at like the Excalibur, and I wasn't interested in that at all. So I told them, I said, have fun, and I went and I walked around down the strip, and man, I didn't take any notes. I didn't, I just wanted to I just wanted to experience it. I didn't buy anything. I didn't eat anything. I didn't fucking drink anything. I just walked down the strip and I saw like a hooker crying like on the corner, and then a crackhead screaming at the hooker, and then like literally 5 steps later I see a guy this jeweler closing his jewelry store for a fucking rich dude who just wanted it closed so he could sit in there by himself and look at the jewelry on his own. Like, and he had two bodyguards at the door. And I'm sitting there going, that this is 5 feet away from this hooker who has no money crying and this crackhead screaming out into like the ether. And I thought, man, that's a life right there. That's like, it fills me with joy when I see shit like that. Even though it's like, yeah, it's sad, like the diaspora of all these things, but like it just like my heart becomes like a few sizes too big, kind of like the Grinch when I see a hooker crying on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard. You know,
Oh
but I
yeah.
don't know. Do you have places like that you've ever been to where you feel that like kind of
Oh
like,
sure.
yeah, like in your
Oh
chest?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the downtown east side of Vancouver is really, really intense. It's not Las Vegas. Um, the most intense place probably, yeah, would be like the downtown east side of Vancouver is kind of renowned for being really fucking seedy. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it can't be any more seedy than like the shittiest part of San Francisco or Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
America's just bigger, and so there's just
It
more
is.
shit.
There's more of it. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, in Vancouver's pretty fucking, I don't know. It's bad here, but it can't be worse. So,
Yeah, what's funny is that my wife, I told her that I was going to be talking to a Canadian because I don't talk to a lot of Canadians, and so I asked her. I said, "What should I ask this Canadian guy?" And then she was like, "How does it feel to live in a place that has less people than California? Like the whole country, I think has less people than live in California. Like when you think about that, have you been to California?
I've not been to California.
Okay, so like when you get here one day, which you'll come, I'm sure you'll be in America. So have you been in America at all? Like
Oh
other than
yeah,
like New York or Seattle or whatever? You've been to
I've been across all of the top states.
have you?
We
Okay.
we always, as a Canadian, it's normal to dip into like Seattle or Bellingham
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like
Yeah, that's what I
in
thought. Yeah.
Montana to go camping, or
Yeah.
on the East Coast. I mean, probably if you live in, I never been to like Detroit, but you can usually cross the river to Detroit.
Yeah.
Like 90% of Canadians live like yay with
Right there. Yeah, yeah,
right there. So I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty normal to dip in and out, but no, I've never been anywhere too crazy. I've never gone too far into it. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, it's mostly the same. It's a strange, like it's a strange difference because we're just like we're like Canada sucks in a lot of ways, and like I don't know, like I mean it's I guess complex. I mean, I'm proud to be Canadian, but it doesn't mean anything anymore because
Isn't
Canada's
what it
not
used to be. Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of a, I mean, I'm an old head now, so I just want a few square meals a day. I'm, if there's a revolution coming, you'll have to give me a minute to put some pants on.
Yeah. What what are your thoughts since you said Canada isn't what it used to be? What do you think that is? What do you think like led to that?
Well, I mean, I think we sold out our demographics, to be honest, and there's this idea that in order to grow um, commercially, in order to build anything, you need more and more and more people. And I guess the government isn't really satisfied with how the original colonizers who did steal the land, if we did
Yeah,
steal the land,
they did. They
but
did.
yeah, that isn't really that those birth rates aren't working out, and there's like a cultural shift, I guess, in Canada that I'm nostalgic for it like my time, and it's probably just bias. It's
Yeah.
just my own bias. Um, and I think this happens to probably anyone that like gets older than 39.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts to look, you remember, you're nostalgic for a place that doesn't exist anymore. And
Yeah.
I think in the end, it's not really worth, if it's worth going to war over, then I'll probably end up at war. But I'm at least happy and free enough
Yeah.
to make art, and the people that aren't from here, that the immigrants that are here, it's not that's not really their fault.
No. No,
It's
not
the
at all.
government's fault,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The government, why wouldn't they take advantage of that? You know,
Well,
so
it's not just the government of Canada's fault or the government of the United States because we have a lot of immigrants here. It's also the government of their home country's fault for pushing them to the point where they had to leave and come to this, to come here for a better life. They should already have a better life where they are. You know what I mean? Like, why are we not immigrating to other places when we like? Because I mean, I don't know about you, but you know, I've never been as poor as I am now, I feel like, but I'm like the richest person in my immediate family. You know what I mean? So it's like
right,
I don't get it. But
right,
I've been lucky that
yeah,
as far as immigration goes, like I've lived in Southern California my whole life. So I've always been around immigrants. I've always been around Mexican immigrants. And
yeah,
so when they were like, oh, Mexicans are taking over, I'm like, they've always been here. Like I don't
yeah,
have, you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
never, it doesn't look any different than it always has looked, whatever. And I don't know if I've ever gone into this, not
right,
just on this show, but like to you, but like my mother, she was a drug addict and we were on welfare like my whole life, like most of my childhood. And I was a ward of the state up until I was 18. So like the government paid for my entire childhood essentially. And so who am I to judge any of these
totally,
people that come over here or do anything? I would never
yeah,
do that. And just because also it's like not right, like you said, like it's not their fault. Like, what I mean? Who wouldn't take advantage of that? Like fucking we would if we could. If like
yeah.
Dubai, if they opened up Dubai right now and they're like, if you come over here, we'll give you $1 million an hour to do, like, wouldn't you fucking leave and go to Dubai? I'd go tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I get it, you know what I mean? But yeah, but I get it. Like the demographic shift is probably like weird for a Canadian that's been there their whole life, right?
And I mean, I think like if this place is worth coming to, if things are so good here, then like you got to ask yourself what made them so good. And
Yeah,
if colonialism like is as fucked up as it made things for white people and natives and
natives. Yeah,
everyone,
yeah, yeah,
and if um colonialism, like if things are so good here, why? And
yeah,
and and if I have to be real with myself, and I got to say that like the colonialists, they came and they conquered and they
yeah,
created a society that was enviable,
yeah.
and now the third world wants to come here because it's enviable. But what will happen is that those people will come here and it will lose those qualities that make it enviable. And that's not
But
really my
but in a way, weren't the colonialists third world when they got here? Like when you
well,
think about, you know what I mean? Like they had the natives kind of had like not a perfect society, but they were like, one with nature and all that bullshit. And then the colonialists came over and they kind of like destroyed all that. And they were like, it's time to move and shift into this new thing. Do you feel like this is like payback for that? Or is it like, or is it
it,
just kind of an evolution of the colonialist thing? Because you're basically being colonized right now. Like that's it. Everybody's being
that's
colonized
right.
by somebody else, right? Like
And
it's
so that's right. I mean, it's kind of open. It's open, like all is fair in love and
yeah,
war, right?
that's
And
right.
so
And
you
colonialism.
can't. And that's why I'm sort of saying it's like not my fight. Like if it comes down to it, maybe I'm pretty old now,
Yeah.
probably too old to go to war. But
No, 45 I think is the cutoff. I think
oh,
so.
okay, I got
Me and
5 years
you, me
left.
and
I
you,
was
yeah,
just
me and you could still go to war.
let's
I'm
get
pretty
drafted.
sure. Don't quote me on
Let's
that,
get
but yeah,
drafted. No,
let's
but
do it.
I,
Yeah,
I think if like for whatever reason, the colonialists did create um, a high quality society,
Yeah.
and the European colonialists
Yeah.
created a high quality society. Eventually, I know there was like a lot of bloodshed,
There
but
was.
for
Yeah.
whatever reason, the end result was nations that the whole world wants to go to.
Yeah.
Now, why is that the case? And I'm thinking that it's because the colonialist mindset, the European mindset is what made it successful. And if we lose European um, descendancy, then we'll lose that European spirit that makes it so successful. And again, I mean, like this is a racist argument. It
Yeah,
becomes real,
that's where your neo-Nazi thing comes out right there.
and so it's
Yeah,
hard to deny.
yeah.
It's hard to deny. It's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah,
deny.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
but I'm always sitting down to the table with people that can articulate the arguments,
yeah.
and like that's
But
just the way I.
how about this? How about if this, I guess, perfect European society that you're talking about that we created over here, do instead of bringing the third world to us, why didn't we as a society go out and make those third world countries better? Like, why didn't we do that? Like, that's my question. And then why now are we complaining because those people are like, they're sick of waiting. And they're like, we're just going to come to you and get what we wanted. And like, if we destroy you in the process, tough shit, you should have come and helped us first, kind of thing. Like, how do you feel about that? Like,
Yeah,
that,
well, you're right. I mean, it's well, the colonialist thing was quite selfish. It was like
yeah,
we're going to steal this,
yep,
and then we're going to make it for us. And it was pretty much like a hands off. This is our scene for a long time,
mm-hmm,
and now that that's not quite the case. Now that let's say, well, specifically in Canada, that they want more immigrants than ever.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, I think that as the demographic changes, you'll start to see a reflect the Canada will start to reflect the the host nation, the nation of its demographic individuals.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if we if we end up being like 40% Indian people from India,
yeah,
then 40% of Canada maybe will start to be like India in,
yeah.
let's just say, every way.
So
And
good food is what you're saying. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Better food. It's not
yeah.
protein anymore, right? Or anything.
And so that's sort of the argument, but it doesn't at the end of the day it's mostly theory because
It hasn't
it's a
happened
slow,
yet. Yeah,
well, it's a slow boiling
yeah,
frog,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
A slow boiling frog, and that's okay. I
Well,
don't
and
have
the other thing you have to think about too, and I guess a reason not to, I don't know if complain is the word, but a reason not to get too, like, let it hurt you so much in a way, is that like you'll be long dead when any of this actually matters. You know what I mean? Like you'll be long dead when the demographic shifts to a point where Canada is completely, like, completely shit. It's not completely shit now. You're still able to like speak on the fucking internet. You're still able to like go get food whenever you want. You're still able, you know what I mean? Like once it becomes like crazy, crazy, you'll be gone. Like I've always like one of my big things was that somebody was asking me about um like picky eaters, like people that hate eating certain foods or whatever. And I was like, when you're in a soup line, like it doesn't matter how picky you are, you just get, but I always thought in my head when I said that out loud, I'm like, if there are soup lines ever in America again, like there were back in the 20s or 30s or whatever, I'll either be an old man or I'll be a fucking dust in the wind when that occurs. Because right now, I couldn't feel more, you know, prosperous as I do in America. You know, I mean, I could buy a fucking $30 podcast thing from fucking Amazon. I could buy headphones.
yeah,
I have a MacBook. I got fucking squirt zero sugar because I have diabetes. I mean, like, there's all these like choices and shit that I have. When all that stuff stops, then I'll be like, okay, we're fucked. You know what I mean? But as for right now, I just try to be grateful for like the fact I'm breathing and I'm not
yeah,
being told how to breathe, essentially.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying about the war. Once the war comes in my, and then I'm engaged in war, then
Yeah.
you know, it'll be different. And survival is sort of a war, but I'm not up against the gate with survival. I got a home and I got food and I'm
Yeah,
not
you do,
looking.
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, I just and I got to break bread with all of these people
Yeah.
anyway.
You
And
do.
so
Yeah, yeah.
you can't go around as a hater. I
Um,
think, well, and that's in some ways like I'm unhireable. I'm unemployable,
yeah,
and it's not just politics. It's just like it's like I'm organizationally, it's tough to fit someone in when like I just I've streamlined my life to be my way, and
yeah,
it's really tough. I'm a lover of people, and so I betray myself when I wear the like when I wear the racist when I play the racist card.
yeah.
Um, and this is like I have black friends. I'm just kidding. The woman I
Yeah,
was in
that's
love with,
yeah, that's the
I was in
yeah,
love with a woman
that's the
named
classic.
Rachel.
That's the classic thing that a white guy says, though, right? I have
That's right.
black friends. My friends are all black. I have a black, whatever.
So
Yeah,
I was with Rachel for like 6 years. We were together, and
yeah.
she was like Black Power activist, and
Have
I
you
was
seen
like,
Have you seen One Battle After Another? Have you seen that yet?
yeah, that's
Is it
right.
kind of like that, like the beginning of that movie?
Yeah, well, it is exactly like that. It
Yeah,
becomes like a ferocious, almost fetish,
yeah,
and that we went so far into that like you know I was trying to say on Twitter not long ago, like people can't talk to me about any of this shit. Like when you put yourself on a different level, when you can't come eye to eye with me, you betray yourself. And in like in the court of ideas,
yeah,
like let's play ball
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and let's like use ideas and words only. Let's like at the end of the day, I'll go break bread actually and find a way to be brothers,
yeah,
black or white,
yeah, yeah,
black or white,
yeah.
Jews and otherwise.
Anybody? Yeah, yeah,
Well, we have to. Otherwise, we're
yeah.
gonna go to war. And if it's time to go to war, like I said, give me a minute because
I'm not ready to go
I'm like
yet.
I'll get ready, but like
But you're gonna to close this out because I think we've been talking for a million years, and I mean I could talk to you for 3 more hours, I'm sure, and you'll be back on the podcast one of these days, sure. But to close it out, you're gonna have to be ready on the day of the rake for sure. That's
that's right.
that is the time you will have to be
That's
ready.
right.
Anyway, um, Ryan, it was been a pleasure talking to you, and is there anything you want to like plug right now before I count us out?
I think everything's good. I maybe will plug Subverted Subversions, those kids that had me on recently, the last podcast I
Oh,
was
is
on.
it Subversions is what it's called? Yeah,
Yeah, those
yeah,
kids. But otherwise, I look forward to reviewing your book this year finally,
yeah,
and
yeah. Please, yeah, yeah,
that will be a lot of fun.
yeah.
And
And then what's the Zulu one? Is that an older book that
oh
he wrote or a newer one?
yeah, older book, The Savage Green. That's one
Do
of
you
his
have it? Do you
original.
have it next to you right now?
Yeah, I've got it
Yeah,
right
pull it
here.
up. Put it up to the camera. Let the audience see it so they can
Here we
pick it
go.
up. Like I said, I love that. I love Zulu. He's
Here we go.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he's
the old
awesome. I
school.
love. Yeah, I love that one.
But I
Yeah, yeah.
appreciate you letting me come on here, and
Always,
you're
man.
the man, and I hope you'll
Thank
have
you.
me back. And thanks for being so tolerant.
I will. Yeah. Always. Yeah. I do my best. Um, but yeah, as always, this is Cross Theory, 5,000 Theories. This is episode number 9. So we're getting there. After 12, I start getting paid, but I'm not doing this to get paid. So don't worry about it. All right. I love you, man.
Love you too, buddy.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.